Hey, Raptor fans, what is going on? It is Friday morning as I'm recording this video, 102 in the East. That's right. So, 8 games played so far. Raptors are 4-4. And in this video, I'll be talking about the Raptors bench. And, you know, the Raptors bench so far, it's a little bit kind of hard watching them get minutes because most of their starters are playing most of the heavy minutes, and usually when the game is close, Darko Rakovic gonna use his much of his starters in the game. If it's usually like a blowout, he'll mix and match, have the bench players come off the bench and along with the starters. So in 8 games played, looking for the stats with the bench and what their points average is. I am not really seeing it. I've looked everywhere, but most of their points so far out of the 8 games, 3 games they have scored 34 points off the bench. And there was a preseason game against the Washington Wizards where they had 62 points in that game at Scotiabank Arena. And there was a kind of a concern with how was this bench gonna use during this season. Now, last season wasn't really used as much. Under old coach Nick Nurse, he used his starters very heavy minutes, not giving much with the bench, much minutes to play. And under this new coach, Darko Rakovic, saying that, he would like to use his bench more and using 5 guys off the bench. Although, yes, the Raptors do have more bench players than, that they could use. Darko said he could get 5 in most games, but most nights we've seen he's used around 6-7 guys so far. So 3 games, the Raptors' highest bench point total has been 34 games. Sorry, not 34, 34 points. All right. So 2 of those 34 has been led by Gary Trent Jr. with 16 points each, and Greedy Dick, his highest career so far, also with 16 off the bench. Right. And 2 of those games came in a loss. One against Chicago. That's where Gary Trent scored those 16 in that 104-103 overtime loss. And he had the other 16 in the Dallas game, that 127-116, when Grady Dick had the other 16 points with the loss against Philadelphia in their first meeting. Okay, so so far, looking at the player stats, Gary Trent Jr. Coming off the bench, as I said, he had 16 points, a couple of 8 points in the win against Milwaukee, and in the other second game loss against the Philadelphia 76ers. He did have 10 points against San Antonio in that 123-116 win. And the other 2 point bench leaders. First game, Achua, 8 points, and Malachi Flynn had 6 points. So the Achua game was against Minnesota, and the Flynn game was against Portland. Now, Despite how this Raptors bench has been looking so far, it's got me a little worried that maybe there is more work that they could uh, use, or maybe I should say work on. Um, Now, if this team is going to progress during the season, the bench has got to step up in critical times and in crunch time as well. Okay, because your starters are not gonna play much heavy minutes. Depends on what rotation that Darko Rakovic is going to use. Scotty Barnes as a starter, leading this Raptors team, averaging 21.5 points per game. He leads the team in rebounds in 10.4. Dennis Schroeder leads the team in assists in 8.4. And Scotty Barnes basically leads in all categories with this Raptors team. And going back to the bench, I'm looking at guys like not only Gary Trent Jr., but guys like Otto Porter. Last few games didn't do score much, but his defensive help presence and veteran presence as well uh, should help, lead this team uh, to victories, right? Now, most games, you're not gonna get your best performance out of guys like Porter or Gary Trent Jr., right? But if guys like Chris Boucher, who has not played very much games so far, I liked how he played against Dallas in that Wednesday game. He was hustling and very energetic, getting loose balls. Uh, he was doing the little things that to help the team, right? Grady Dick, it's his first year. That career high in 16 points in the loss against Philadelphia. I would like to see him get a little bit more playing time as well. All right. Now, as I said, despite of what Darko uses, his rotations, how when to put him in or when not to put him in. Okay. And you have guys like Malachi Flynn. I've had a little, not much of a rant about Malachi Flynn, and despite some people are saying, yeah, this guy shouldn't get a chance, he should not be on the team. Uh, you know, I I thought to myself, okay, let's see what he can do. All right, his fourth year. There's room for improvement for Malachi Flynn, um, for him to play on this team. Precious Achua was missed. I believe he is now missed what 4 games now due to an injury. The first game against Minnesota, he had 8 points off the bench to lead all bench scores. He he's another guy I'm looking forward that if he could put up 10 to 12 points off the bench, that is another big help along the way. Now, in 8 games played, the Raptors still room for improvement. Working with this bench unit, and I'm not going to say this is supposed to be the bench mob 3.0 If you remember Bench Mob 2.0 back in, I believe it was 2017. We had guys like DeLon Wright and Terrence Ross and those guys. They were putting up massive bench points. Jakob Proto, who was on that team, coming off the bench. It was a great time during that year, right? And now looking forward to this season, this is a team where, you know, I was hoping that the Raptors can probably, you know, average around 35 plus points off the bench each night. Their lowest, as I said, coming on the first game with only 16 points against Minnesota and the 17 against Portland in a game where the Raptors, you know, should have won. Maybe. All right. So, yes, there's a lot of improvement. The guys like, as I mentioned, GT Money, as some people call him, Gary Trent Jr., Chris Boucher, Otto Porter, and the way I put Malachi Flynn in this list, I don't know. What do you think, right? So basically, those three guys that I mentioned, I think we could get more productions out of those three. Should help a long way. Okay. So I want to hear your thoughts about so far with the Raptors bench. Do you think that this Raptors bench is a little concern for you early in this season? What are your takes so far? All right, so that's gonna do it with this video here. Thank you all for watching, and you have a wonderful day or evening, whatever time it is right now. Raptors will take on the Boston Celtics on Saturday to wrap up this 4-game road trip. All right. Have a great day.